This is Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors.
Welcome into the fourth week of Friday Night Football. It's the best day of the week, and we're glad you're watching. I'm Charles Bryce. Over the next 15 minutes, we will have coverage from all around the Concho Valley, from Class 6A down to 1A. We're now going to send it out to Brian Cunningham, who is live inside San Angelo Stadium for more on tonight's matchup between Lakeview and Lubbock High. Brian, take it away.
Good evening, and we are live from San Angelo Stadium. I'm Brian Cunningham, and we are wrapping up high school football week 4 again at San Angelo Stadium, where the Lakeview Chiefs are in the middle of a 3-game homestand, and they just did something that they haven't done since 1983, and that's start the season 4-0. And who do they do it against? They had Lubbock Westerners come to town in what was the highest scoring game so far in 4A in the Concho Valley. 99 total points in this game, and even 56 total points at halftime. But how did we get here? After the halftime 28-28 score, these teams were not pulling back any punches. I honestly don't even think I saw the defense for either team step onto the field. Both teams were just giving blows to each other, and what we had was a 10-minute-to-go situation in the final quarter. Lakeview gave up the lead, a 5-point lead, but then would claim it back with 3 minutes to go off of a touchdown to Rios, his 4th total touchdown of the day. And the other team, Lubbock, also had a 4-touchdown performance as well. And again, this was a barn burner till the very end, and we had Lubbock line up for what was going to be a potential game-winning field goal on the final drive of the game. Unfortunately, they were stopped on their 4th down play. They didn't even bring out the field goal unit, and they would lose 50-49 in the 99-point score tonight. Again, Lakeview starting 4-0 this season for the first time since 1983. And we're going to send it back to you guys live from San Angelo Stadium. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Brian. Here's those highlights from Lakeview versus Lubbock High. A Lubbock opening drive, turnover on downs, led to the Chiefs scoring first. Rios with his first of 3 first-half scores right here, 7-0. Lubbock's second drive is capped off by a Bo Davis TD run. It's 1 of 2 in the first half, tied 7-all. Alviso to Nick Leyva goes out of the 3, almost hits our cameraman as he avoids a hit. And Rios would punch in his second TD of the game, 14-7. Lubbock again answers back. Bo Davis doing his best Bo Jackson impersonation. Shakes off the big hit, 14-all in this one. These two combined for 56 in the first half. 28 all at half for this back-and-forth dogfight. Lakeview wins a wild one, 50-49. Now we switch to Class 6A. The Central Bobcats continued non-district play on the road against the Belton Tigers. Bobcats were coming off their first win of the season last week at home against Abilene Cooper. This is a 4th straight year for Central to play Belton. Bobcats led the series 2-1. They beat the Tigers 33-8 last year. They took it 48-9-21 this time. Now we switch to Class 3A after moving up a spot in the rankings this week. The number 2 Wall Hawks traveled to Monahans for their second matchup of the season against a Class 4A team. The Hawks were looking to go 4-0 with a win against the Lobos. Wall led the series 2-1 and pulled off a 27-20 decision last year at home. Monahans started off 0-3. The Lobos scored a total of 13 points in their first 3 games. Wall runs away with it 50-13. The Grape Creek Eagles were looking to snap a 6-game losing streak against Colorado City when they hosted the Wolves tonight. Grape Creek came in at 1-2, Colorado City 0-3. Let's get to those highlights. First quarter already 7-0 Eagles. Brady Woods in the shotgun, dumps it left to Darrell West. Walks into the end zone. Touchdown Eagles, 14-0. Next Wolves possession. Colorado City trying to answer with a shot to the end zone, but it's broken up at the goal line by Randy Rodriguez. Receiver looks for a flag, doesn't get one. Same possession. A few plays later, Wolves going for it on 4th and short, but they will not get there. Darrell West comes flying in for the stop. Second quarter, Grape Creek trying to capitalize. Direct snap to Anthony Saavedra. Cuts left, now gains traction, evades defenders. Still on his feet, finally brought down near the 40-yard line. That sets up another score right here. Woods in the pocket, going deep, 1-on-1. And it's Darrell West again, hauls it in, fins off the cornerback, and trots in for another touchdown. 21-0 Eagles. Grape Creek sends the local fans home happy on homecoming with an emphatic win. Grape Creek wins 40-7. Brady Bulldogs wrap up our 3A coverage tonight. They were looking to bounce back from their first loss of the year with a win at home against Ballinger. Bearcats led the series 50-36-1 coming in. Check out the highlights now. Less than 8 minutes left in the half. Ballinger up 7-6, but here comes the kids from McCulloch County. Hand off to Ashton Taylor, the senior back, off to the races for a big gain, and Brady first down later in the drive. Brady going for it on 4th down, deep in the heart of Ballinger territory. Sean Jacoby to Ryla Padigo for the 6-yard touchdown. Dogs go for 2 and make it 14-7. Brady under a minute left in the half. Check out this run from the junior back, Johnny Roque. rumbling and bumbling, breaking 4 tackles along the way before he's brought down at the Ballinger 1-yard line. A few plays later, Bearcats saying, watch out for the slant. Here it is, Sean Jacoby to Ethan Bernal for the 6-yard touchdown. Very next play, Bulldogs going, lining up for 2, hand off to Johnny Roque. That cameraman better watch out. Dogs good for the conversion, leading 22-7 to the break. Brady was up 36-19 in the 4th. Coming up next on Friday Night Football, we send it down to Class 2A when we start with the Cristobal Cougars hosting the Sterling City Eagles. Stay with us. We'll be right back after a short break.
This is Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors.
It was homecoming for the Cristobal Cougars as they hosted Sterling City in a Concho Valley showdown. Cougars were eyeing a second straight win. Eagles were looking for their first. Let's check out the highlights now. First quarter with Sterling City up 7-0. Cougars get on the scoreboard on a short touchdown pass from Ty DeBus to Kelton Gibbs. 2-point conversion makes it 8-7 Cougars, 7:41 of the first. Still in the first, DeBus hooks up a Cannon Green on the left side, but he cuts back to the right. And fights off defenders on a 40-yard TD to stretch Cristobal's lead to 16-7 after another 2-point conversion. Still in the first quarter, Cristobal deep in its own territory. DeBus gets picked off, and the Eagles almost get a pick 6. Sterling City takes over, 4th down run. Here, Eagles Steve Monreal gets tackled by Cristobal's Colt Floyd. Second quarter now, Cougars deep in their own territory. DeBus throws a beautiful pass to Kelton Gibbs again. He almost scores by Eagles Vance Davis. Later in the second, Cougars up 18-7. DeBus TD strike to Israel Boggs. PAT makes it 25-7. Cristobal is up 46-19 in the 4th. We continue our 2A coverage with another Concho Valley matchup as the Miles Bulldogs welcome the El Dorado Eagles to town. And here are the highlights from that showdown. El Dorado with the ball first. Johnny Ray Adami back to pass and is picked off by Dalton Fisher, who takes it back to the house. Bulldogs up 6-0. Heck of a way to start the game on homecoming night. Eagles would not go away with that easy though. Adami struggles with the snap, but corrals it and goes to the air. And somehow Amari Luna comes down with it to keep the drive alive. That would lead to Adami buying time in the pocket and continuing with Kane Brock in the end zone. Makes it 7-6 El Dorado, and Adami would keep the Eagles soaring as this time he calls his own number and barrels in for 6, puts El Dorado up 13-6 going into the half. El Dorado was up 13-12 in the 4th and a nail-biter. Sticking with 2A, the Sonora Broncos were aiming for a second straight win after knocking off El Dorado last week when they faced Alpine on the road tonight. Both teams came in at 2-1. Broncos held a 27-9 lead in the series. They have gone home happy in the last 4, including a 35-8 decision last year. Sonora wins a close one, 30-27. The Ozona Lions continue our 2A coverage. They averaged over 62 points a game while jumping out to a 3-0 start. Lions welcome the Harper Longhorns to town for a homecoming matchup. Ozona came out on top in 10 of the first 13 meetings. Lions have reeled off 4 straight wins in the series, but it was a 5-point decision last year. Wasn't like that this time. Ozona led 46-6 in the 4th. It was a Concho Valley showdown at the Puncher Dome tonight as the Mason Punchers hosted longtime rival and number 6 ranked Junction. The Eagles entered at 3-0, fresh off a victory on the road against previously undefeated Brady last week. Mason improved to 1-2 after a blowout at Coleman. Mason won 30 of first 35 meetings against Junction. The Punchers' 35-12 win last year was their 18th in a row over the Eagles, but that ends. Junction wins 27-16. Coming up next on Friday Night Football, we drop down to Class 1A with 8 Concho Valley teams in action in the 6-man ranks. Don't go anywhere. Friday Night Football will be right back.
This is Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors.
Down to Class 1A for 6-man action. Number 10 Robert Lee Steers put their perfect record on the line against 0-3 Blackwell in a Concho Valley battle. Let's check out the highlights from that one. Hornets desperately trying to avoid an 0-4 start. Nice cut downfield by Creed Cummings to start the game, but the Steers took over. Brenner Sherwood hits Nate Samaniego on a slant. He makes defenders miss. He plows his way in. Touchdown Robert Lee. Blackwell trying to respond, and they do. Cummings sprints down the sideline, goes in for the score. A little breathing room for the Hornets, but not for long. Steers cruise once again to improve to 4-0, dominant with a 54-6 win, while Blackwell's misery continues at 0-4. Sticking with Class 1A, the Erie County Hornets were eyeing a second straight win when they hosted the Garden City Bearcats. Hornets prevailed 44-40 last year. It's homecoming for the Hornets. Garden City opening drive TD, 8-0 early on after the made PAT. Bearcats with another TD rush early on, number 25 yet again outside corner and getting in the end zone, 16-0 early. Here in County finally responds, breaks a cameraman, and the defense. Hornets finally on the board, 16-8, and this one Bearcats advantage. Another drive, another Bearcat score, number 25 again up the gut to extend the lead, 24-8. 10 minutes to go before half. The Hornets get on the board again, 24-16 with 9 minutes to go in this one. But Garden City runs away with it, 66-20 in a blowout. The number 2 ranked Water Valley Wildcats took a perfect record into tonight's road game against Buena Vista. Wildcats allowed a total of 14 points through the first 3 games. Buena Vista came in at 1-2. Water Valley was looking to avenge a 54-52 setback last year in the first meeting with Buena Vista, and Water Valley took care of business 52-0. The very best Falcons were hungry for their first win of the season when they traveled to Baird. Falcons were coming off a loss at home against Brought last week. Very best won 2 of the first 3 matchups with Baird. Falcons rolled 48 to a 48-point blowout last year. Baird took a 1-2 record into the night. The Bears beat Highland last week. Falcons led 32-12 in the 4th. The Paint Rock Indians have put last year's winless record in the rearview mirror. Indians were eyeing a 3rd straight win when they faced Brooksmith on the road. Paint Rock leads the series 12-5. The Mustangs dominated the Indians 66-16 last year for the 4th straight win against Paint Rock, but this was all Indians, 70-20. And it was a Concho Valley matchup at Finlay Field tonight as the Menard Yellow Jackets hosted the Brought Longhorns in a battle of undefeated 6-man squads. The series was knotted at 14-1 coming in, but the Jackets had reeled off 6 straight wins, including a 47-18 win last year. So which team won it the most this time? Menard takes it 51-50. And in the only Saturday matchup around the Concho Valley, the Eden Bulldogs will face the Wichita Falls Christian Stars on the road at 1 p.m. Saturday at a neutral site at Abilene Christian High School's Panther Stadium. Eden is 3-0 after beating Lomita 64-14 last week. The Bulldogs have allowed a total of just 28 points. This will be the first matchup between the Bulldogs. Coming up next on Friday Night Football, we wrap things up with a recap and a look ahead to Week 5. When we return, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break.
This is Friday Night Football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors.
And of course, with football season comes our annual Concho Valley High School Football Trivia Challenge. To enter the sweepstakes, simply visit our website, ConchoValleyHomepage.com. Click the contest tab and submit your answers each week for your chance to win the grand prize, a $100 HEB gift card. Weekly winners are announced every Sunday, each of whom receive an automatic bid for the final drawing. The grand prize winner will be announced at the end of the season in mid-November. One of this week's questions, Mason's nickname is the Punchers. What exactly is a puncher in this context? A, boxer, B, cowboy, C, lion, or D, bull? Remember to visit our website to submit your answer. And looking back on tonight's games, Central defeated Belton 49-21. Lakeview defeated Lubbock High 50-49. Number 2 Wall rolled to a 50-13 victory against Monahans. Number 6 Junction defeated Mason 27-14, and Menard rolled past Brought 51-0. Now looking ahead to next week. And some Week 5 matchups. The Central Bobcats will be on the road for the 2nd straight week to wrap up non-district play against Waco High. Bobcats are 3-0 all-time against the Lions, who they beat 37-6 last year. The Lakeview Chiefs are home again when they host the Levelland Lobos. Lobos hold a 7-5 lead in the series, and they beat the Chiefs 44-26 last year. The number 2 Wall Hawks will be excited to be back at Clayton Wysoon Field after being on the road for 3 weeks when they welcome the Sweetwater Mustangs to town. Hawks won 42-21 last year. Number 6 Junction Eagles return home to face Falls City in the final tune-up for district. And the number 2 Water Valley Wildcats will be playing a day earlier than usual when they host the Rochelle Hornets at 7 p.m. Thursday. Water Valley leads the series 13-3, including a 73-28 blowout last year. And that's going to wrap things up. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. Stick with ConchoValleyHomepage.com for all these recaps, including scores and highlights from all Concho Valley teams. Be sure to tune in weekly for our high school football trivia. And, of course, we'll see you next week from Friday Night Football. I'm Charles Price. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, Concho Valley.
Catering for Friday night football staff is provided by Chick-fil-A. Friday night football on KLST, brought to you by Randall Motors. Closed captioning for the hearing impaired is sponsored by the Law Office of Rick DeHoyas.